Okay, the course moves very, very fast, so you need to be here. Okay, attendance is probably the #1 thing. Okay, if you're missing days, okay, that happens. People get sick, stuff like that. Okay, if you do miss, you need to go straight to Google Classroom because each day I record class. Okay, each and every day I record it and I post it on YouTube and then I just link it to Google Classroom. Okay, so if you miss, that's what you need to do. Go to Google Classroom, watch the recording, and do whatever we do. It is the second best thing to being here. Being here is the first best thing. Okay, so make sure you are here as often as possible. Okay, so if you are absent, you're responsible for any material you miss, including labs, assignments, and projects. So if we do a lab that day, you're not excused from that lab. Okay, I have observations, videos, and everything, okay, for each and every lab. Hey, there, come on. Mr. Dornfeld has your schedule, so at break, you'll see. Oh, you got it, okay. All right, yeah, so if anything goes on in class on a day when you're not here, okay, then you're responsible for that. Make sure you get caught up. If you got questions, you just come and see me, okay, that's no problem, okay, but like I said, there's no reason to not be able to get it done even if you weren't here, okay. I actually had a student who went on a student exchange to Belgium for 4 months and did my course virtually. I don't recommend that. He was exceptional. Okay, but it's possible to stay all caught up with everything doing that for a couple of days. I would not recommend it as an extended thing. Okay, late. Make sure you're here on time. Okay, if the door is in the closed position, wait on the other side of it. Okay, don't knock. Don't make faces at people through the window. Okay, I will see you and I will come get you when it is not a disturbance to everybody else. Okay, so just make sure that you do that. If you are late, please don't be late often. I find it very annoying. Okay. All right, resources that are available to you. Okay, obviously we've got our Google Classroom. Okay, so you guys have all used that before. Yeah, it's me. And my password is a whole bunch of dots. Just like yours. All right, so Physics 20 period 1, hopefully you got the invite just like my student account did here, okay? And you can see that I've already posted things in the stream, okay? And they're actually in the classwork tab as well, and they will be personalized to you. So your notes and worksheet packages, okay, are arranged by units. Okay? It takes a little while to load, but it'll show up here, and you'll see the notes package as well as the workbook, digital workbook packages and everything. We do not use the textbook, right, for this course because, well, it's not all that good and nobody wants to carry it around and everyone just forgets to bring it, so there's no point. Okay, but once this eventually loads, okay, and you can maybe see this on yours, okay, so you'll have your workbook for Unit 1, workbook for unit, I don't know why it's in that order, but okay, and then your notes package is right here, and they will be personalized to you. It'll have your name on it. Okay, the idea is this. You have it available to you each and every class, whether that's on your phone or whether you go home and print it, totally up to you. Okay, if you go home and print it because you want it on paper, that's totally fine. Okay, I totally get that you want to have pen and paper, that's great. Don't print it in color. Okay, it's a total waste of resources. Right? And you'll have one of those Shaquille O'Neal conniption fits, right? And you don't want one of those. Okay, so you want to have just a black and white copy, or just have it on your phone or tablet or whatever it is you use. I'm totally okay with your phone being out and being used in class if it's being used to access the workbook or your notes package or whatever, and you save some trees. Okay, totally okay with that too. All right, your phone is a tool, and I'm all right with that. All right, so all of that stuff is in there, okay, as well as other important materials. Okay, that'd be the course syllabus, which you have in front of you now, and the equation sheet, which I will give you a paper copy of. Okay, shortly. I just didn't give them to you right away. Okay, if you ever lose your equation sheet, any spares will be up at the front here in that black unit. Once they're run out, then you got to print your own. Okay, but it's always available here if you need it. All right, so everything will be there, okay, including when I post materials, okay, and if we're looking at the YouTube channel, so like I said, I post everything to YouTube each and every day as when I record it, so. All right, it's going to look like this. It's CoderreScience. You do not need to subscribe to it. I do not make a dime on this, but I did get to 1K subscribers last week. Awesome. But I'm not monetizing, okay? Because, well, that's not really appropriate for me to do and make money off of you, so that's cool. Okay, so I won't be doing that, but yeah, you don't have to subscribe to it. It's no big deal. So there'll be Science 10 lessons, which obviously won't apply to you, and then there'll be Physics 20 lessons. You will probably never have to go directly here to find anything. Okay, you'll just get here from Google Classroom, right? So, but it's there if you ever needed it. All right. Okay, so use Google Classroom, use the podcasts, okay, all of that kind of stuff. The board will have due dates on it, obviously, so will Google Classroom for anything. Okay, if you're away, again, it's your responsibility to make sure you stay caught up. Okay, if you've been gone for a couple of days and you come back and you go, hey, Mr. Coderre, what did I miss? I will give you this look. That's my unimpressed face. Okay, and my answer to you will be a lot. And then I will turn around and walk away. Okay, you need to make sure that you are staying caught up. If you come back after being gone for a while and go, Mr. Coderre, I watched all the podcasts, I tried all the questions you guys did, I worked on the lab, but I have the following questions. Perfect, you did your job. Okay, now I'll do mine. Okay, and I will help you out with whatever questions you have. Okay, fair enough? All right. Okay, so for classroom behavior, okay, same old stuff. Just treat everybody with respect, okay? I will always do my best to treat everyone with respect. When it comes to things like, you know, needing extensions or exceptions on things, please just come and talk to me. I handle all of that on a case-by-case basis, okay? I don't like to have like blanket policies that apply to everyone, okay? If there's ever, you know, if you ever have a question or you need something, then don't be afraid to come and ask, okay? So when it comes to behavior and things like that, it's always case by case. Okay, so just come and see me. Okay, I'm a pretty understanding guy. All right. If you hear me say listen up, that's your cue that I need your attention. So eyes forward, earbuds out, okay, full and undivided attention. Okay, if I assign you work in class, then I expect it to be completed. I am not going to check all of it. Right? I do not do homework checks, nor do I assign homework. Right? Your homework for me will be lab reports, assignments, and if we've been working on some questions in class, the expectation is that you do enough that you have mastered whatever concept or skill those things are working on. Okay? So the assigned work that comes in for marks are lab reports and assignments and projects and things like that. Okay? That stuff will be taken in and marked and be part of your grade. Practice questions from the workbook, I am never going to check. Okay, those are up to you to do. Okay, we'll do some of them in class, okay, but it's always a good idea to do as many of them as possible. We're not ever going to be able to get them all done in class. There's more in that booklet than we'll ever do. Okay, so the idea here is, well, I get this pretty well. Maybe I'm good and there's only a couple of questions left and I'm good with it, or I'm really struggling. I need to really do all of these and probably come in and see Mr. Coderre for help. Okay, that's the stuff that's not going to be checked. All right, so you are obviously responsible for your own academic success. If I find you're not completing your work, so the stuff that's like the assignments, the labs, and things like that that are coming in, then I am going to hold you accountable for that. Okay, I'm going to be on your case. You're going to be spending time with me at lunch or after school or whatever until it's caught up. Okay, and you know, then I call home and I say, oh, little Johnny is not getting his work done, and you know, this is really affecting his mark, and here's, you know, what I'm going to do to help him, okay? And your parents love, well, they don't love getting that phone call because then they know you're not doing your work. But at the same time, they also love hearing that I want to help you, and then they'll help me. And that won't be good for you, okay? Because then things disappear, like, you know, car keys and Xboxes and things like that. They go missing, and you get 4 gray walls and bread and water, and Yeah, I don't want that for you. So just get your work done on time, and then you won't have to deal with that. Okay? Okay, and also know that in this class for unit exams, there are no rewrites on those. Okay? I give you 2 weeks notice of a unit exam always, so that's plenty of time to get prepared, come in and see me, ask questions, do what you need to do. Okay? So if for some reason you got a mark of less than 50% on an exam, okay, then you're going to have to come in and see me, and we'll make some arrangements for what you can do to help out. But there's no like, oh, I didn't do well, can I just do it again? No, that's not how life works. Okay? If you become a brain surgeon and you mess up, you lobotomize somebody. You don't get a do-over on that. Okay? You're launching $1 billion rover to Mars and it blows up. There's no do-over. It's just $1 billion up in smoke. Okay? So we got to kind of be moving towards how real life works. Okay? Fairness versus equality. Like I said, I try and treat everything on kind of a case-by-case basis and be as understanding as possible. Okay? And be as empathetic as possible. So if you ever feel like I haven't been fair, please come and ask. Okay? Also know that sometimes it's going to maybe seem that way to you, but maybe don't know the whole situation, okay, because it's maybe involving somebody else, and I can't really tell you why, okay, but know that I do my best, and if I can explain it, I totally will, okay. It's just one of those things, right? Everybody's got lots of stuff going on in their life, and I do try and keep all of that in mind, okay. All right, for accountability, obviously, you're in grade 11 now, okay? I give plenty of time for assignments, so there's not a lot of reasons that I'll accept for them not being on time, but again, I'm a pretty understanding person. I know things come up, okay? But I do also expect that I give pretty reasonable expectations for when things should be completed, okay? So here's how that goes. If we were to do a lab on Wednesday, the earliest it would be due would be Monday. Okay, I would always give 2 full school days, okay, for it to be done. That doesn't mean you get the class time to do it. It just means that's the quickest turnaround I would expect of you to turn something in. I'm never going to go, hey, do these 25 questions tonight and hand them in tomorrow. That's not fair. Okay, that doesn't teach you good time management. Okay, it doesn't help with anxiety or things like that. So I wouldn't do that. Right, the shortest turnaround would be 2 school days, and I honestly don't remember the last time I made it that short. Okay, it's usually like 4, or there's a weekend in the middle, or something like that. So there's lots of time for you to find time to get it done, and they're not usually a ton of work outside of class. I do try and give some class time for each and everything that I'm going to take in for marks. All right. Okay. Questions so far? All right. So assessment and evaluation, this has to do with your marks. Okay. First thing is I'm not going to discuss your mark with you in class in front of everyone else. Okay. I can't do that. All right. So if you have a question about a mark, come and see me after class, or at nighttime, or lunchtime, or before school, or after school. Okay. Then we can have that chat. Okay, and that's no problem. Okay, your marks will be distributed according to the syllabus. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, assignments and labs are to be handed in on time. So here's what on time is for you. Okay, that is going to be 8:30 a.m. on the due date if it's coming in on Google Classroom. If it's coming in on paper, I will call for it right at the start of class. Okay, which for you guys is 8:35, but okay, I'll call for it at the beginning of class when it's due, but if it's coming in on Google Classroom, it's 8:30 a.m. Okay, that's when I want it submitted. All right, and Google Classroom will tag it late, like 1 second after 8:30. Right, so make sure that you have it in at that time. All right, now, late assignments are going to be docked. Okay, there is a late penalty, and it's 30%. Here's why. You will always get the things you hand in to me back the next day, if not the same day. Okay? I will turn around your marking always by the next day, because I want to be able to go through it with you. I want it still fresh in your mind so that you get the learning experience and value out of the assessment. Okay? So I'm going to turn around, and the next day you'll have it, and we'll go over it as a class. So if you don't have it done when we go over it, it's hardly fair for you to sit there and copy down the answers and then go, Mr. Codere, look at how good I did. No, okay, I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. Okay, that's not cool. You're going to get docked because at that point, I don't know how much of it is yours versus how much of it you got from everybody else or from me. Okay, so the expectation is I give you lots of time to get it done, you get it done on time. My expectations for myself to turn it around are higher, and I'll turn it around the next day. Okay, this is my 23rd, 4th year of teaching, okay, and I have failed to turn around an assignment for the next day once. Okay, and it was the day my second son was born. Okay, I stand by my decision to hold my wife's hand while she squeezed out our kid and not mark labs. Okay, it was the right decision. I totally stand by it. Okay, and I had them ready the next day. All right, but yeah, that's the only time. So I will turn them around and have them back to you. Okay. All right. I don't know why that's in there twice. That looks silly. Is it on there twice on yours? It is. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't even notice that. Okay. All right, so the course syllabus goes like this. There are 4 units in Physics 20. Okay, we'll start the first unit today. It's kinematics. And there's a lot of stuff in there that's going to be familiar from Science 10. Position versus time graphs, velocity versus time graphs, V equals D over T, acceleration. Okay, that kind of stuff is all in that unit, but we build on it. All right. In Science 10, the extent of like vector stuff that you would have done in Science 10 would have been like north and south, left and right. Okay, they're always exact opposites. Okay, in Physics 20, we do 2-dimensional motion, which is going to bring trigonometry in. And I am not going to kid you, there's a lot of it. Okay, in the first 2 units, there is a lot of trigonometry, a lot of SOHCAHTOA, okay, things like that, because we go into a lot of vector analysis of things in this course that we did not do in the previous course. If the word trigonometry is like, triggering for you, or, brings some sort of trauma response or something like that, this might not be the right class. I don't want to kid you, okay? There's a lot of trig, okay? Trig's not that bad. I'm going to help you with it, okay? But just so you know, there is a fair amount of it, okay? Also in kinematics, we will go over projectile motion, okay, which kind of brings all of this stuff together. It brings in V equals D over T, acceleration, and vector addition. All of that stuff comes in for that. Okay, kinematics is going to take us up until middle of March, probably. Okay, because we do have that week off in February. Okay, so it'll probably be middle of March before we're done that unit. Our second unit is dynamics, and it analyzes a lot of the same movement and motions as unit 1, but instead of looking at it just from how the object is moving, it looks at it for why. Okay, so it looks at the forces, the work, the energy, and that kind of stuff. All right, so some of that stuff will be familiar from Science 10. We did conservation of energy and work energy theorem in Science 10. That's a big part of Unit 2. Okay, but the even bigger part of Unit 2 are Newton's laws, first, second, and third. Okay, his second law is half the unit. Okay, so it's a big deal. And again, there's a fair amount of vector analysis in that unit as well. Okay, dynamics will take us up until, let's say, middle to end of April, because Easter is going to fall in there somewhere too. Okay, circular motion and gravitation is the shortest and typically easiest of the 4 units. Okay, it's usually done in about 3 weeks. We go over why things move in a circle, some examples of different types of circular motion, and we look at gravitation, so the force of gravity and how it works in that unit as well. And so we've done that one, let's say, right around May long, somewhere in there. Okay, and then mechanical waves, okay, and simple harmonic motion is unit 4, right, and that'll take us right up until the end, so 2nd, 3rd week of June, okay, somewhere in there. And that one we look at any type of simple harmonic motion, like a pendulum or a mass on a spring, and then we look at waves after that and how waves work and move and Doppler effect and stuff like that. Okay, so there's a lot of really practical stuff, okay, that you'll have real world experience with, and it'll kind of should hopefully make sense. All right, in terms of your marks distribution, okay, this is the weightings for the course. Your unit exams, 4 of them, okay, are 45% of your final grade. Okay, your labs, assignments, and projects are 20% of your final grade. Okay, quizzes, I haven't talked about those yet, but they are 10% of your final grade, and your final exam is 25% of your final grade. Okay, so yes, exams are fairly heavily weighted. Okay, reason for that is there just seems to be a lot of collaborative learning happening these days. And so I'm not always so confident that my assessment of your classwork is always an assessment of you. Okay, so the exams, those are definitely an assessment of you. All right. Okay, quizzes, because we didn't talk about those. Quizzes in this class work like this. You're going to have one every Tuesday and every Thursday, unless you're told otherwise. All right? They're short, 5-10 minutes. Okay? And I will post a practice quiz the night before. Okay? So Monday at 3:30, practice quiz will go up on Google Classroom. Wednesday at 3:30, practice quiz will go up on Google Classroom. Sometimes the practice quiz is the real quiz. Sometimes. Okay? So it's always in your best interest to do the practice quiz. Okay? It'll take you 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, okay, at home to do. Right? So it's not a huge amount of work. That's kind of my homework, Jake. Okay? Now, if you do the math, you're getting one every Tuesday and every Thursday for an entire semester. Okay? And they're worth combined 10% of your final mark. How much is each one worth by the end? Practically nothing. Okay? The quizzes are not meant as an assessment tool per se, they're meant as a review tool. Okay? They're always going to be on the last 2 or 3 classes. Okay? Can give you an idea of, okay, do I know this stuff or don't I? Okay? And it also tells me, all right, that quiz went really well. We are totally done with this and we're moving on. Okay? Versus that quiz went terribly. We obviously don't know this stuff yet and I need to do something else before we move on. Okay? So that's kind of what they're for. All right? If you do poorly on one quiz, it's not a big deal. Okay? If you do poorly on every quiz, that is a big deal, but that doesn't happen. Okay? So one poor quiz is not too bad. Okay. Other things for this class. Emergency exits. Okay. In the case of a fire, okay, our primary fire exit is out through the languages wing. Okay, so right where the chairs and tables are, we would go out that door and into the back parking, actually, and then to the football field. Our secondary fire exit are the front doors, the main doors of the school. Okay, and our tertiary fire exit is out the science wing. Okay, I know that seems weird because that's closer than the front doors, but that has to empty like 10 classrooms before we would get to it, and that takes too long, so we go out the front. Okay. Worst case scenario, the fire is right outside that door. Window. I get to break it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can I have food and drink in here? Yes, you can. That's no problem. Just if you make a mess, please clean it up. Okay. And if you come in and you have 2 liters of Coke and a bag of Doritos for breakfast, you probably get a nutrition lecture. But okay, yes, you can have food and drink in here. That's no problem. Can I listen to music in your class? Yes, conditionally. Okay, the condition being, I'm not directly instructing. Okay, if you're just working on some seat work, doing some practice questions, and you kind of want to isolate yourself and not be distracted, totally okay with that. Okay. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Questions from you guys? Okay. One other thing. If like you need a break. Okay, like, you know, I try and give, like, you know, a break, you know, somewhere during a class. But if you need a break and you just need to kind of take a little walk or something like that, you know, or use the bathroom, whatever, just ask. Okay, you don't have to pretend or anything to say, you know, Coderre, can I just take a little walk? That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Just it has to be a little walk. Okay, it can't be a I don't see you again walk. Okay, or like a 50-minute break. Okay. Be a 2-minute break or 3-minute break. Okay, if you need to go and talk to somebody, you know, you need to see Jen or Peter, that's fine too. Just ask, and I'm cool with that. Okay, because we all work differently, and I'm okay if you need to do that. Okay, don't be afraid ever to ask. All right, help sessions. You can come and see me, lots of available times. Okay, I'm usually here by about 5 after 8. Okay, so I'll give help for about 20 minutes before school starts. Okay, Monday to Thursday at lunch, so every day. okay, for 20 minutes at lunch. Obviously we have nighttime, okay, that you could also come to, and I'm usually here after school for a while as well, so if you want to just pop in after school and ask some questions, I am here then as well. In terms of what you, the help you can get for like labs and assignments, I'm fine if you want to come in and say, Mr. Cooder, can you look this over? So if you've got like a lab report and it's pretty much done, Mr. Cooder, can you look over my lab report? Yeah, no problem. Okay, I'll look it over, and if I see anything, I'll point it out. Okay, it's always a good idea to do that because maybe you misinterpret a question. Okay, so, you know what? I'm not understanding why you wrote this answer for number 3 because number 3 was asking about this. Could you maybe write an answer that talks more about that, and you go home and fix it in 2 minutes, you're done. Okay, and you do a lot better. Okay, so little things like that, I have no problem, looking things over. Okay, stuff like that. Just ask. Okay. All right, things you're going to need for this class. Obviously, as we already talked about, everything on Google Classroom. Okay, you're going to have access to that. My recommendation for the stuff that's on Google Classroom would be to have the notes package and the current unit's workbook package downloaded on your phone if you don't have a paper copy, because you all know how reliable our Wi-Fi is here. Okay, like it's off more than it's on sometimes. Okay, so make sure that you have that available even offline. Okay, so that you can access that. Writing utensils, paper, because we do a lot of problem solving and things like that. There's lots of times where I'll ask you to add stuff to the notes package, okay? In which case, if you had the paper copy, just write it on. But it is a Google Doc, and it's yours, so you can open it and you can type right into it if you want to. That's what it's for, that's the idea, so go right ahead and do that. So you'll just need to be able to do that, and you need a scientific calculator at the bare minimum. Okay, if you got the TI, whatever number we're on now, okay, for math, that's great. Okay, but you don't need that. Okay, if you don't want to, lay out the cash for that kind of calculator. Okay, these kind of calculators work just fine. Okay, you just need a scientific calculator that can do exponents, cube roots, stuff like that. Okay, I think that costs like $8. Okay. It's not a super expensive machine, but it works just fine for what we need. Okay. Yeah, that's what you need for this course. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, cool. Well, let's get right into it here. Okay, I'll give you guys a little break here, though. Just give you about, let's say, 5 minutes within the classroom. Okay, and then we'll get going on that.